Hello my friends, again we have some of the great news coming, for example from Crimea. On your screens you may see the last selfie of this B-12 Russian surveillance airplane, which was kaputted by Ukrainian drone controlled by primary unit, one of the most effective drone operation units in the Ukrainian army if we speak about long-range strikes. And I can tell you a lot, not just about this airplane, by the way, two of those were kaputted, but also the place, this airfield. It is Kacha, not far away from Sevastopol, where I was born. I know Kacha airfield very well. I even used to walk there in the field when I was really young. But let's watch this video at first. During this attack, again, Russia lost one Mi-8 helicopter, and Kacha is the place or the base for the Russian helicopters, as well as those B-12 airplanes. Also the military transport aircraft like Antonov 26 are based there. So here we see kaboom. Yeah, definitely it was the strike of this helicopter. Yeah, over here you may see the blades were hit 100%, and obviously this kaboom caused the fire and the helicopter was kaputted. By the way, I have the image filmed from the scene, from the ground, by some of the eyewitnesses. The video spread around the internet. I'm gonna show you it later on, but it's not about this particular helicopter. It's about the Simferopol airfield, where Ukraine was successful in the strike as well. And there Russia lost maybe even 4 helicopters. But initially, let's continue with this video. So you may see, yeah, the airfield of Kacha, they have helicopters and they have those Bereev B-12 airplanes, surveillance airplanes, mostly used to find and identify submarines. So I guess this plane finally was hit, but it's really hard to say. Maybe drone hit the ground in front of the airplane. The serial number is 08. Again, I see some of the problems with control of the drones. So now that I see it once again, honestly saying it's hard to tell whether this was a successful strike really. I think it's the zoomed in image here. Well, maybe they hit this airplane, but obviously this airplane is disabled, because even if you hit close to the ground, all of the shrapnel and debris, it penetrates the airplane, so airplane is no-go for long time, maybe forever. It is made out of alloy, and this particular aircraft has also wooden parts. Yeah, it's like a flying boat, it may land on water. And that's the other one. Well, here it was a precise strike. You may see it here. Yeah, very stable flight right into the engine. Awesome. The airplane has actually 2 of the engines. This is a right-hand engine and this is the left one. You see that propeller is absent. So the particular unit was on maintenance and was located far from the main apron. Well, still it is a loss for the Russian airspace forces, because it's quite easy to replace propeller, but it's very hard to replace this kind of the airplane. Simply as with many of the Russian military airplanes from strategic aviation, and not only, it is not possible to build this aircraft once again. Well, before we go to analysis why those airplanes are crucial for Russia with the Ukrainian drone attacks, let me show you this clip, as I promised, with Russian kaboomed helicopter. Yeah, sorry for the watermark. You may see nothing remained. Yeah, it burned down. The other one is okay. This one is kaputted. Some debris are lying, he says. They also mark that there is some other helicopter further away, but I don't see it. Especially in this video, yeah, with this camera it's hard to tell. Well, at least one helicopter is flatlined successfully. We also have the satellite image confirmation about the other helicopter. Well, Ukrainian military intelligence report about 4 kaputted Russian helicopters in Simferopol only. Plus now we have a new video confirmation, I guess from Kacha, because it's the main base for Russian B-12 airplanes. Plus it is the base for the Russian helicopters, so Russia lost 1 more helicopter and at least 1 more airplane. Right, now let me tell you a couple of words about this airplane B-12, kind of the ugly airplane, as you may see. It's kind of old, made in Soviet Union in 1960s, but still it has its own unique feature. It was designed first of all as the patrolling aircraft of the sea, with capabilities to find submarines and ships. It has 2 powerful radars, one on the nose and one on the back, so this aircraft may locate the targets easily. And nowadays, when Ukraine sends the drone boats to Crimea, and those aircraft they are based in Crimea, the purpose of those is very important. I actually remember the time that in late 90s and early 2000s the Russian army wanted to scrap those airplanes because after all they're ancient. They wanted to replace it with B-200 aircraft, also flying boat. Yeah, this one also has powerful radars, but not as powerful as on B-12. Well, B-200 is used as the firefighter transportation aircraft with landing on water capabilities. Kind of the good aircraft, I would say. I think it's the best Russian transport airplane in production. It may land on water, it may land on the ground, a really beautiful machine, but still Russia needs B-12 for surveillance missions or reconnaissance missions, yeah? And we know that Ukraine is developing and I guess already producing Toloka torpedoes or drone torpedoes. One of those torpedoes was presented in Lviv, as you may see. It is really huge. B-12 aircraft, they may find those torpedoes because it's the purpose of those airplanes, to find and locate submarines, boats and ships. So my idea, or you may call it a speculation, but it is quite logical that Ukraine is now aiming towards those airplanes to eliminate the Russian surveillance on water. If you follow my channel and you watch my videos, you already know that Ukraine intensified strikes on Crimean military infrastructure of Russia, targeting the air defense systems and radars, so it's 100% that Ukraine is working to clear the path for long-range drones, maybe even long-range missiles, because we know about Flamingo, yeah? And also now Ukraine started to clear the way for maybe torpedoes, maybe more drone boats, because B-12 is like the same radar just in the sky. So again, for now I cannot prove it because I'm not there in the Ukrainian military command, but we see what is happening, yeah? And we may come out with our own logical conclusions. Maybe the target could be Kerch Bridge, maybe something else, we'll see. But I guess that something big is coming. Well, now about the place where it happened. This is Crimea. Sevastopol is on the south here, and a little bit towards north there is the military airfield of Kacha. An interesting thing about this particular airfield that it was always Russian. I mean, since Ukraine gained independence, it rented this airfield for Russians' use. If we zoom out here, you see Belbek military airfield. This is Ukrainian one. It was the main base for Ukrainian fighter jets in Crimea, but this one was used by Russians, rented all the time, and I know it perfectly because I spent lots of the time in Kacha when I was a kid. So I know perfectly what is flying there, and if we zoom in, you see those airplanes, B-12 or B-12, because the designer is Beriev, so in Russian it's B-12. So you may find those airplanes here, and also Russian Antonov 26 transport, small transport airplanes, I would say. They're like ATR-72 if we speak about the size. And again, if we check the surroundings, here is one more B-12, Antonov 26, B-12, this is the maintenance part, the maintenance hangar, so I don't know why they build it very close to civilian buildings. Also, there are some of the remote stands here for the airplanes, the runway itself, also it has unpaved runway, it goes in parallel, and also over here it's the place where they may land. And here's the road. When I was a kid, I walked here and I went, yeah, to the airfield itself. By the time it was poorly controlled, you know. Now I'm sure that they put some of the checkpoints, but we used to go to those remote hangars also to check out the airplanes on the bicycles with my friends, and this northern part over here is the place for helicopters. Mi-8 helicopters and also Kamov 27, Kamov 32, I guess they also have. Those are also anti-ship and anti-submarine helicopters. They have kind of the huge radar. For example, this is the K-27. The Moscow flagship used to take this particular helicopter and use it for surveillance around. But I guess by the time Moscow was kaputted, the helicopter was not on board. Or maybe it was and went to the water, then ship tilted on the side. The previous generation was Kamov 25 with even bigger radar, but it is less effective than on Ka-27 or Ka-32. So yeah, this place was and is a Russian military base, and people who live here, they work mostly for the base. But for the last couple of decades, it's a little different. There are some of the tourists coming here. They're also purchasing some of the property. There is the property line here. You may see this coastline, yeah, right in front of the beach, and the sea here, guys, what I can say, it is fantastic. It is wonderful. But sadly now Crimea is being occupied by Russia. I'm sure, however, that Ukraine will return Crimea fight back. However, it might only happen with the Russian regime collapse, which I think is imminent. You know, guys, just yesterday I filmed the video about the strikes on Crimea, and today we have more strikes on Crimea. Well, as for today, I think it's better to divide topics. Like now I spoke about the strikes on Crimea, but there are multiple more news coming. Some of them are even good, and I'm gonna film more videos today, so stand by. In a few hours there's gonna be one more upload. I don't want to make videos really long, so then I have time, I film more videos. Thank you, by the way, so much for that, for your kind support, especially if you follow me on membership of this channel and on Patreon, that you may find in the video description just below. Thank you guys for supporting my motivation. Without you, I wouldn't be able to make filming videos as my main job. So again, thank you for your kind support. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.